3 months after getting married, Nina called Leo in tears, crying that her husband was about to beat her to death. At that time, Leo was still posting wedding photos on his social media, excitedly showing everyone that he was about to become a groom. But just 2 hours of Nina's sobbing were enough to make him forget who he was. He rushed to Nina's house like a hero descending from the sky and broke her husband's nose. Nina's husband was assessed with second-degree injuries, sentenced to 2 years in prison, and ordered to pay $80,000 in compensation. I took out the $60,000 in engagement money Leo had given me, added the set of wedding jewelry his mother had bought for me, and returned everything to scrape together the compensation money. Leo was extremely moved and said to me, "Emily, wait for me. After I get out in 2 years, I will definitely marry you. I'll make you the happiest woman in the world." I looked at him and smiled faintly. "Leo, you're being far too polite. My happiness will naturally be brought to me by my husband. There's no need for you to worry about it." He froze and asked, "Emily, what do you mean?" I said calmly, "I mean I'm already married. The wedding on August 12th, didn't you know?" He blurted out, "How could there be no groom? Who did you marry?" I looked at Leo and laughed, genuinely amused. "Who gave you that kind of confidence, thinking that I, Emily, can't live without you? There are plenty of good men out there. Whoever I marry would be better than marrying a criminal like you. Leo, your life is basically over. I'm a responsible woman. How could I let my future child have a father who would ruin their future like you? And you still want to marry me? Dream on." My encounter with Leo was a mistake from the very beginning. At that time, he had just broken up with Nina. In order to prove that he had already forgotten her, he turned around and pursued me instead. But I knew nothing about their past. Under his relentless pursuit, I eventually softened. It wasn't until the day of Nina's wedding, when he got completely drunk and sat at home crying hysterically, talking about his 10-year relationship with Nina and how it ended, his voice filled with pain, that I suddenly realized I was nothing more than a substitute, a tool for him to heal himself. But by then, he and I were already engaged. I wanted to break up. He knelt in front of me and swore that he no longer cared about Nina. "Emily, she's already married. Why would I still think about her? I can't go after another man's wife. I love you. I love you sincerely. I'll do everything to make you happy, even happier than Nina by 10,000 times." I didn't understand what I had that could even be compared to Nina. I didn't even know her. Love is something dreamy, but marriage is nothing but reality. During the exhausting and chaotic period of wedding preparations, I wanted to call off the engagement, but Leo's family absolutely refused. They said I was being too petty and insisted that Leo would make it up to me in the future. Everyone advised me that when a wild horse turns back, it is worth more than gold, that everyone has a first love, that once he got married, he would surely straighten out, and that someone who had been hurt would know even better how to cherish the person beside him. I couldn't argue against them and ended up deceiving myself for 3 months. But right before the wedding, just one phone call from Nina made Leo abandon everything, rush off to beat someone, and get arrested by the police. Yet the people who once advised me didn't step forward to share even a bit of the consequences with me. They only left behind a complete mess for me to face alone. Even so, they kept criticizing me, saying, "Emily, a person has to have feelings. For the sake of loyalty and righteousness, you can't abandon Leo at a time like this." They said Leo did this because he loved too deeply. If you stay by his side, you definitely won't be wrong. And, Emily, this time Leo has definitely learned his lesson. If you're willing to forgive him, the entire Miller family will be grateful to you for the rest of their lives. All it took was a few words from them, a few keystrokes, and they wanted to push my entire life into a pit of fire, while acting as if I wouldn't be a good person if I didn't forgive him. Forget it. I don't need that reputation of being a good person. Whoever thinks they're a good person can take Leo home and love him themselves. As for me, Emily, I don't want this man anymore. That morning, Leo beat someone and hadn't yet been taken away by the police. By the afternoon, I immediately posted a status. Tomorrow, I'm getting married. Everything was ready, only the groom was missing. Was anyone willing to volunteer? After I posted that, Not only did it fail to shut those people up, they screamed even louder. As if the one who ruined the wedding wasn't Leo at all, but me. They cursed me, saying Emily was heartless and cold-blooded, that the situation wasn't even clear yet, and I had already rushed off to be with someone else, asking if I wasn't afraid of becoming a laughingstock. It was ridiculous. If the entire Miller family wasn't afraid of being laughed at, what did I have to fear? I wasn't being ambiguous with an ex. I hadn't broken the law by beating someone. I just wanted to hold my wedding on schedule. Yet, I was the one being criticized. Besides the few people who sided with Leo, there were also some who asked if I was joking and advised me not to act on impulse. There were even a few who took the opportunity to mock me, joking around and trying to bargain. What's in it for being the groom? Do you throw in the bride for free? I do need a wife, but I'm afraid you'd look down on me for being poor. As long as there's someone, it's fine, right? Put on a suit and you can get married immediately? First come, first served? I felt like I was about to collapse. Just as I was about to toss my phone aside, a notification suddenly popped up from Alipay. Ethan transferred $200,000 to you. The funds have been credited to your account. Please check. I froze for a moment and asked, "Who are you?" He replied, "Last time, when we were taking wedding photos at the beach, my ex-girlfriend accidentally stepped on and broke your bag. We had a bit of a conflict then. Do you remember?" "Oh, I remember, but that bag was only worth 200 yuan. You already paid for it. Did you transfer the wrong amount just now? I'll send it back." "No, I saw that you were looking for a groom, so I thought I'd just transfer the money. Consider it the engagement gift in advance so we can register right away. Have you found a groom yet?" "The groom, not yet. But what about your fiancé?" "You mean my ex-girlfriend? The day before the wedding, she rented a room with her ex, so I decided to let them have their happy ending. So, do I still have a chance?" Everything on my side was already prepared for the wedding. Thinking back to how I asked for 80,000 in engagement money from the Miller family, how Leo's parents dragged along all their relatives to beg me for over a month, how they finally forced it down to 60,000, and even scolded my parents for selling their daughter, I still felt furious. Ethan hadn't even asked for the full story and had already transferred me 200,000. Wasn't he afraid I was a scammer who would just take the money and disappear? I suddenly felt a bit moved. I couldn't let down someone who trusted me so completely. "I've received the engagement gift. Don't be late for the wedding." "Okay. Then send me a set of the wedding photos." Luckily, we used the same studio and the same concept. Swapping the person in the photos should be easy. "Wow, you're really well prepared. But it's probably too late to make new posters now, right?" "It's fine. I have professionals to handle that, and I also know the owner of a printing shop. I'll just need you to notify the hotel so it's more convenient for us to replace the photos and posters." "No problem at all. One more thing, can you send me your home address? I need to plan the route in advance for the bridal pickup team." "Do you have any requirements for the wedding car convoy?" "As long as they're on time, that's fine. I don't have any other requirements. I'll send you my location." "Got it. Does your family have any special customs for picking up the bride?" "Probably not. These days they don't allow all that rowdy wedding stuff anymore." "Then I'll ask the elders in my family just in case. I'll prepare in advance so nothing goes wrong and we don't lose face. I'm not too familiar with those things." Ethan spent just 2 hours discussing and settling all the issues that I and the Miller family had argued over and dragged out for months, and that we had only managed to reach reluctant compromises on. After that, he even called a few close brothers and asked them to help receive guests. At the entrance of the hotel, everything had to be registered clearly. Friends only. Only relatives from the Jiang family and the Ethan family were allowed in. The Miller family and the Faux family were not. He was truly meticulous, because that day, there really were people who came to cause trouble. The Miller family knew their son had caused serious trouble and might end up in prison, and they were afraid no one would want him afterward, so they stood outside the hotel screaming and crying, cursing me non-stop for hours. It was laughable. He beat someone and might go to prison because of me? What did that have to do with me? If they wanted to make a scene, They should have gone to Nina's doorstep instead. The faux family also cursed Ethan, accusing him of abandoning and deceiving their daughter's feelings. Did they not know what their own daughter had done? How thick-skinned did they have to be to say things like that? On the day of the wedding, we also received a red envelope with $80,000 inside. Only then did I find out that the ex-boyfriend of Ethan's ex-girlfriend was actually the same kind of person as Nina, already married and living off a wealthy heiress. Because he and Ethan's former fiancée had rented a room together on the night before their wedding, his wife demanded a divorce. That $80,000 red envelope was sent by that rich heiress wife. She truly was a woman with presence and grace. I, Emily, never would have imagined even in my dreams that getting married could be this dramatic. Ethan has an exceptionally well-proportioned build, tall and upright. Just standing there, you could tell he had once been a soldier. To be honest, I felt like I had gained a huge advantage. Several of his friends, all former soldiers, stood in 2 neat lines at the hotel entrance. No matter how loudly the Miller and Faux families made a scene, they didn't budge an inch and refused to let them in. In the end, when the shouting became too unbearable, they directly called the police. Even when the police arrived, they couldn't drag those people away. They lingered and argued outside the hotel until the MC announced that the ceremony was complete. Because the 2 families hadn't known each other before, the more chaotic it was outside, the more courteous and composed it was inside. The MC was also very restrained, not cracking excessive jokes. The wedding proceeded properly, eating when it was time to eat, toasting when it was time to toast. We held hands and went around introducing ourselves to relatives and friends from both sides. It was almost comical. For both families, this was the first time meeting each other, and even the first time seeing the bride and groom in person. To be honest, I am extremely happy right now. Even if the wedding with Leo had gone smoothly, I could never have felt this kind of joy. Between me and Leo, there had only been lies, calculations, verbal pressure from his family, and a thorn named Nina lodged between us. But between me and Ethan, there was only a simple wedding, a clean and decisive union, mutual salvation at exactly the right moment. His family looked at me with gratitude, spoke gently to me as if I were their great benefactor. His parents even changed how they addressed me, and the gift money they had originally prepared for his former fiancée was increased 5-fold and given to me instead. My parents felt almost overwhelmed. I saw my mother turn away and secretly wipe her tears. I understood how she felt. During those 3 months of negotiating marriage matters with the Miller family, they had tried every way to suppress and belittle me, sparing no harsh words and arguing with my parents to drive the price down, treating me as if I were worth nothing. And now, the Ethan family was treating me this well, being so generous. At the moment when I should have been most humiliated, they instead gave my entire family immense dignity and pride. My mother was truly deeply moved and kept reminding me that in the future, I must treat Ethan well. Ethan is an extremely thoughtful man, far more handsome than Leo, and carrying an air of integrity and uprightness. As he accompanied me in toasting our relatives, he was polite, generous, and openly protective of me everywhere we went. Just as I turned my back, I heard someone say that I had picked up a priceless treasure. I felt the same way. That night, we stayed in the luxury suite at the hotel. Ethan had drunk far too much that day and was already very drunk. After he finished showering and walked out, his steps were slightly unsteady. I picked up my bathrobe and was about to head into the bathroom when he suddenly stepped in front of me. I looked up at him, and my face instantly felt hot. After spending the entire day together, meeting his relatives and family, I felt it even more clearly. Marrying Ethan really meant I had married up. "Emily, can I hug you for a moment?" Ethan's voice was slightly hoarse, probably because he had talked far too much today. Whether it was with his own relatives or mine, he had always been the one stepping forward, handling the socializing, speaking up for me, and protecting me throughout the ceremony. I was sure my face had turned completely red, so much so that I didn't even dare look him in the eye. I'll go take a shower first." He still reached out and hugged me anyway, then said softly, "Go on." I went into the bathroom to remove my makeup and shower, but inside I felt a bit hesitant. After all, the two of us weren't that familiar yet. He had only seen me twice, once during the wedding photo shoot and once at the wedding itself, and both times I had been wearing heavy makeup. He had never seen my bare face. That thought suddenly made me nervous. While I was still hesitating and hadn't dared to step out, he knocked on the bathroom door. "Are you okay?" "I'm fine. I'm done." I lowered my head as I walked out and went straight to the vanity, picking up the hairdryer to hide the tension in my heart. He walked up behind me and took the hairdryer from my hand. "Let me." To be honest, I really thought he must be quite drunk. He had drunk a lot today, and his eyes were a little unfocused, but his words and movements were still completely clear and steady. As he dried my hair, he was so gentle that my heart started racing. When he noticed a few strands of hair falling onto his hand, he immediately said apologetically, "Sorry, I'll be gentler." "No, it's fine. Hair falling out is normal. It's just a few strands." As soon as my hair was dry, he bent down and lightly kissed the top of my head. That only made me even more nervous. With gestures like that, who could possibly withstand it? "Come here." Ethan took my hand and led me to the bed, then hugged me and fell back onto it, not giving me any chance to dodge or feel shy. And honestly, I really liked his decisiveness. Otherwise, if he hadn't taken the initiative, I probably would have curled up on the bed like a mushroom all night, wide awake. "Can I call you that?" Yes." "Then, can I kiss you?" That question was truly embarrassing enough to make someone want to disappear. "Ethan, we're already married. You don't really need to ask about something like that." We had originally planned to go register our marriage today, but in the end we were too exhausted to even get out of bed. We lay on the bed eating our meal. The last time I had been treated like this was when I was hospitalized. Ethan leaned against the headboard, holding me in his arms, flipping through photos on his phone while telling me about his past, like a belated self-introduction. Our story felt a bit like those secret marriages from long ago, except that we had met before getting married, and the wedding itself had been a decision we made together, completely of our own free will. Marriage really is something strange. Just one ceremony, one vow, one night together, and two people suddenly become the closest people in the world. Being held in his arms, surrounded by his breath, made me feel a sense of security and comfort that no one had ever given me before. "Ethan?" He lowered his head and kissed my cheek, tightened his arms around me, and asked softly, "What do you want to say, wife?" "I want us to always be this good to each other for the rest of our lives. Is that okay?" Ethan hugged me and laughed softly by my ear. I could clearly feel the thudding of his heart and the warmth of his body growing stronger. Call me husband once, and I'll agree immediately. I had clearly been the one to start it, yet now I was so shy I didn't even dare lift my head. "Wife, I won't let you hide." He bent down, gently rubbing his nose against my face over and over. "Wife, why aren't you calling me?" "Did I do something that made you unhappy?" he asked softly. No, not at all. You're very good to me. There's nothing I'm unhappy about." "Then call me husband." I was genuinely tense, my voice so small that even I could barely hear it. I'm here," Ethan replied gently. "Wife, what is it?" The way Ethan clung to me at that moment suddenly reminded me of a phrase I had once read in a novel. Cheek to cheek, ear to ear. That was probably exactly what he was doing to me right now. Just thinking about it made my face burn so badly I could hardly take it. "Husband, can we be this good to each other for the rest of our lives?" Ethan reached out, wrapped an arm around my waist, lifted me up, and turned me so that I was facing him. One hand supported my back, the other lifted my chin, not allowing me to lower my head and hide. His forehead rested against mine, his nose pressed lightly to mine. "Emily, you're my wife. We were always meant to be this good to each other for our whole lives. No, even better than this. The rest of my life, Ethan's life, belongs only to Emily." I couldn't help but close my eyes. Ethan kissed my cheek, and only then did I realize I was already crying. "Silly girl, don't cry." By the third day after the wedding, we finally went to the civil affairs office to register our marriage. I overslept, and by the time we arrived it was already past 10, so we had to line up for quite a while. Watching people queue up to register their marriages was actually pretty interesting. Some couples were so excited they hugged and kissed passionately right there in public. Some held hands and whispered to each other, their whole bodies seeming to glow with pink bubbles of happiness. But there were also couples with icy expressions who didn't say a word, clearly just wanting to get it over with as fast as possible. There were even some who looked like they had lost the will to live, as if they had been forced into marriage. Ethan stood behind me, holding me tightly, insisting that I press close against his chest. When he saw that I had stopped looking around, he leaned close to my ear and asked softly, "Tired already? Want to lean on me and take a nap for a bit? Don't worry, husband will hold you tight and won't let you fall." "No need, there are so many people here." "What's wrong with that?" he said casually. "Everyone here is a legally recognized couple, all here to register their marriage. What's there to be embarrassed about? Or do you want me to carry you?" No. I knew my face must be red like a ripe tomato by now. I buried my head straight into Ethan's chest, not daring to look at anyone. He let out a soft laugh and wrapped his arms around me. The two of us slowly moved forward in the line like that, and I almost fell asleep in his arms. Then a shrill shout suddenly rang out. "Ethan!" I jolted fully awake. It turned out that two men had already been waiting nearby. They immediately grabbed the woman who had just rushed over and restrained her. Ethan gently patted my back to comfort me. "It's okay. Don't mind it." This must be his ex-girlfriend from the Faux family. Judging from the situation, it was obvious Ethan had anticipated that his ex-girlfriend wouldn't let go so easily, which was why he had brought two close friends along as a precaution. He really was quite thoughtful. I lifted my head from his chest and saw the woman with tears streaming down her face, struggling wildly as she tried to rush toward us, her expression filled with such intense pain it was as if she wanted to tear me apart. Instinctively, I began comparing myself to her. She was extremely thin, the kind that looked like she could be blown away by the wind. Her chin was so sharp it left a deep impression at first glance. She was probably around 5'3" and definitely under 100 pounds, yet when she cried and struggled, she was surprisingly strong. "Ethan, you won't even look at me?" she sobbed. "How can you treat me like this? We were together for 3 years. You were the one who proposed to me, the one who set the wedding date with me. How can you just switch to someone else the moment you say you will?" She shouted. "What right do you have to treat me like this? I'm the one who should be your wife. Let go of that bitch right now." Ethan gently turned my head so that one ear rested against his chest. With his warm palm, he covered my other ear, angling the back of my head toward his ex-girlfriend. Then he turned to look at her directly and said calmly, "It's not that I don't dare look at you. I simply don't want to, because I find it disgusting. We were together for 3 years. We talked about marriage and even set a wedding date. And yet, right before the wedding night, you went and rented a room with your ex-boyfriend who already had a wife. Of course I changed partners. Mila Faux, it was you who threw away this relationship and this marriage yourself. Don't come here now just to humiliate yourself." He continued coldly. "If you dare to smear my wife in front of others, I am more than willing to explain, one detail at a time, exactly why I didn't marry you. If you truly have no sense of shame left, then keep making a scene, make it big enough that everyone knows what you did." Mila Faux's face turned deathly pale. She clearly hadn't expected Ethan to be so ruthless, to expose everything so mercilessly. Seeing the people in line looking at her with contempt, she felt so ashamed she wished she could just die on the spot. "Ethan," she cried, "I was with you for 3 years. I was just confused for a moment and got tricked. You can't you give me one more chance? Did you ever love me at all?" Ethan replied calmly, "I once loved the version of you I imagined, but who you really are is very clear, and I don't like it. We were together for 3 years, and for 2 of those years I was in the military. I don't even dare imagine what you were doing out there. You should feel lucky that I only talked about marriage after I was discharged. If I had still been in the army and had already submitted a marriage report back then, the 2 of you would be in prison right now, serving time. Do you understand?" When the people around heard that Ethan was a former soldier, their gazes toward him immediately filled with even more respect. As for Mila Faux, the woman who had rented a room with a married man on the eve of her own wedding. Everyone was furious. Amid the scolding and condemnation, she panicked and ran off, still screaming that she wanted to kill herself. Ethan called after her coldly. "Don't forget to return the betrothal gifts I gave you. From now on, all of that belongs to my wife." After Milafo left, several women standing nearby came over to comfort me, telling me not to take it to heart. They said it was obvious at a glance that my husband was a good man, upright, decisive, and absolutely not the type to get entangled with an ex. It seemed they thought I would feel uncomfortable because Ethan's ex-girlfriend had shown up. But the truth was, I didn't mind at all. Yes, why wasn't I worried even a little? They had been together for 3 years, while Ethan and I had known each other for such a short time. And yet, from the moment Milafo appeared until the moment she left, I never once worried that Ethan would abandon me and go back to her. I was so calm that I even felt a bit silly, sitting there analyzing her figure instead. Yes, don't worry," I said helplessly. "I know. Even though my husband and I have only known each other for 3 days, our relationship is actually very good." "You registered your marriage after knowing each other for just 3 days?" someone asked in disbelief. Seriously, and to be precise, my husband and I officially met on the day of our wedding. At that time, he hadn't even seen my bare face yet. "It's not that," the girl standing in front of me in line said, looking at Ethan with some distrust. "Sister, calm down. Don't let someone turn you into a tool to get revenge on an ex-girlfriend. Marriage is a lifelong matter. Getting married is easy. Getting divorced is hard. You really need to think it through carefully." She was genuinely kind, brave enough to stand in front of Ethan and advise me to think it over properly. "It's okay. We're probably just tools for each other anyway." "Huh? What do you mean by that?" "My former fiancé, right before the wedding, broke someone's nose while protecting his first love, who was already married. He's still sitting in the police station right now." The girl in front of me rolled her eyes around twice before finally understanding this tangled mess. She looked at me, then at Ethan, her expression extremely complicated, not knowing what else to say. After she turned away, Ethan immediately pinched my cheek, his voice carrying a hint of grievance. "Tools for each other?" I lifted my head to look at him, completely unafraid. 3 days ago maybe, but not anymore. Then what are we now? Now we're 2 people who love each other. In this whole world, I love you the most. Ethan hugged me tightly. I could clearly feel the vibrations in his chest and could tell he was genuinely happy. It seemed these past few days hadn't been in vain at all. "Go away, you big rascal." It wasn't until I met Ethan that I truly understood there's no necessary connection between how long 2 people have known each other and love itself. Whether love grows over time or happens at first sight, feelings only have meaning during the time they exist, from beginning to end. Everything else is excess. I had never been as certain as I was at this moment that I liked the man in front of me, that I wanted to hold his hand and walk with him through the rest of my life. "So? He's still in the police station?" I asked. "You even deliberately found people to be on guard, afraid he'd come snatch your wife away?" But I really didn't want to mention Leo. Being unclear with a married woman, beating someone until he broke their nose, how could he possibly get out so easily? He could just wait and eat government meals. After finishing the paperwork, I took Ethan home to meet my parents. When they saw us holding the marriage certificate, their eyes immediately turned red, happy to the point of tears. Because I hadn't taken that one step earlier and registered my marriage with Leo, they were immensely grateful. They were thankful that Ethan had pulled me out of that mire. Recently, they had also been in contact with the Ethan family. Ethan understood that family far better than I did, and the more they learned, the more they felt this son-in-law completely outshone Leo by several times over. They cherished him greatly and treated Ethan with exceptional kindness and care. Ethan leaned close to my ear and whispered proudly, "See, your parents really like me. They like you the most." "Who likes me the most?" "My family likes you the most. Originally, my betrothal gifts were only 100,000 in cash. After learning that Ethan had given me $200,000 as his betrothal gift, my mother immediately added another $100,000 for me to take to our new home and start our life together. My dad pulled Ethan aside to drink with him. Dad's face turned red, while Ethan completely collapsed. When we were about to leave, I packed up a few things to take back to our small home. I've actually never been to your place before. Don't worry. It's a new home. No woman has ever lived there. Everything that was once prepared for her, I've thrown it all away. If you see anything else we need, we'll go buy it together. There's nothing I need to buy. I can just go back to my parents' place tomorrow to get a few more things. No need to bring them. You'll still need them when you visit your parents. We'll buy everything new. Ethan liked to shower first. When I finished showering and walked out, he pounced on me and pinned me down on the bed. Wife, today you said I'm the one you like the most, remember? So say it again. Say it a few more times. I like hearing it. The next morning, when I opened my eyes, all the things we had brought back yesterday had already been neatly arranged by Ethan. He was used to life in the military, so he had a bit of compulsiveness. If anything makes you uncomfortable, just tell me. It's not that I might. This habit is probably hard to change, but I'll try not to touch your things without asking. Is it okay if we arrange things like this? I didn't mind his OCD at all. I even felt that he truly was a perfect man, strict with himself, yet tolerant toward others. He got up at 6 every morning, but no matter how late I slept, he never once woke me. Whenever I did get up, the house was already spotless, so clean that there was rarely even trash in the bin. No matter how wildly I might have kicked my slippers onto the bed the night before, the next morning they would always be neatly placed, right where my feet would land. On the vanity, all my skincare products and cosmetics were lined up in straight, orderly rows, never scattered around. My comb never got tangled with loose hair anymore, and the hair clips that used to disappear the moment I took them off were now all obediently resting in their own little box, as if they knew how to find their way home. My clothes were all folded by him too. The closet was so tidy it was almost unbelievable. Even my tiny underwear was folded into neat squares arranged in perfect rows inside the drawer. I praised him for cooking even better than my dad, and he immediately took photos of all the dishes I liked and made a personalized menu just for me to order from. As for how the prices were calculated, different hugging positions, kisses at different times, and well, this menu absolutely could not be seen by any third party. Only then did I finally understand why I had spent so many years online, reading every kind of romance novel there was, yet still remained a completely unknown, unsuccessful writer. Because this kind of plot, even I, someone who made a living fabricating stories, could never have come up with it. I even specially opened a bank card to hold our shared living fund. The betrothal gifts and dowry alone totaled $400,000. The money my parents-in-law gave me at the wedding, $100,000 each from the two of them, plus several of his relatives, who each gave me $10,000 when we went around toasting, all congratulating me as the new bride. And there was also that wealthy heiress, the one who sent the gift. Both sets of parents refused to take it, and in the end, it was all given to me. When I totaled everything up, I realized that after getting married, I had suddenly become a little rich woman, holding more than $800,000 in my hands. When Ethan saw me hugging the bank card and smiling to myself, he asked, "What are you smiling about?" "If I work a bit harder, in a few years I might even become a millionaire," I said. I knew that in today's society, people with $1 million in savings were actually quite common, but for an ordinary person like me, it had once been such a huge sum that I never even dared to dream about it. Ethan then lifted my face and kissed me lightly. "You don't need to wait a few years. You'll get there very soon." After half a month of being inseparable, Ethan finally took me back to his family home for a meal. There were many people there, 4 full tables set up. After all, his relatives hadn't met me before, so it was natural for them to want to get acquainted. And because I truly wanted to spend my whole life with Ethan, I sincerely hoped to be recognized by his family. Even though I was shy, I still tried to take the initiative to chat with everyone so they could understand me better. When the Ethan family looked at me, it was as if they were looking at me through the lens of a benefactor. Among his relatives, there were 7 teachers, including his parents, plus 2 police officers and 4 firefighters. They were all respectable, upright people. Earlier, because of the scandal and the cancelled engagement, the family had truly lost face. They felt that I, a young woman, hadn't demanded anything or complained at all, yet had still gone through with the wedding with Ethan, helping them regain their family's dignity. It was truly like delivering charcoal in the snow, saving someone in their moment of crisis. And so everyone was immensely grateful to me, treating me so well that it made my face flush with embarrassment. I felt genuinely uneasy about it. The more I interacted with Ethan and his family, the more I felt that I didn't deserve him at all. What did I have that made me worthy? Why had I agreed to marry Ethan back then without asking for anything? Part of it was because I was angry. Part of it was because I wanted to shut up the Miller family, but even more so because of Ethan's attitude. From the very beginning, before he had even said much, he transferred the betrothal gift, stood in line with me to register the marriage. I knew he was serious about being with me. At that moment, he had already surpassed every man in my WeChat contact list. Those people who only knew how to make malicious guesses, mock, sneer, and gossip about me. From taking the initiative to break the ice on our wedding night to every small gesture afterward, he always indulged me, respected me, and spoke honestly about his past, hiding nothing from me. I knew he didn't see me as a tool to get revenge on his ex-girlfriend. He was genuinely trying to move closer to me, and I, too, had opened my heart and accepted him. When we were lining up at the Civil Affairs office and Mila Fo rushed over to curse me as a bitch, Ethan covered my ears and publicly exposed her ugly deeds without hesitation. He didn't care about completely falling out with her, and he didn't allow me to be hurt even the slightest bit. At that moment, I knew we truly were a family. I had chosen that man for the rest of my life. Every attitude Ethan showed made me feel at ease, made me accept him with my whole heart, until I no longer kept any distance at all and truly fell in love with him. Yes, exactly so. I can say with absolute certainty that I love Ethan. Even though we haven't known each other for long, this kind of intense emotion and deep stirring is something I've never felt from anyone before. Half a month after the wedding, Ethan started getting busier. He opened a small workshop producing toy models, specializing in military models. The business had just started and wasn't very stable yet, mainly because it was something he genuinely liked. I was very surprised. Then why is there nothing related to those things at home at all? I was afraid girls wouldn't like them, so I didn't bring them home. No, Ethan, that's gender discrimination, you know? Why can't girls like military models? I don't just like fighter jets and aircraft carriers, I like you too. Ethan burst out laughing. Come on, I'll take you to my workshop. Whatever you like, you can bring it home. His workshop was simple, but high quality, small yet refined. Because of his OCD, he personally handled quality control for every single model. And since he had been in the military, he understood the real feel of actual equipment very well. The models he made genuinely felt solid and imposing, with real presence. Each piece felt weighty and firm in the hand. Have you created your own brand yet? For now, I'm still doing OEM work for others, but I'm planning to build my own brand and open a dedicated store. I also want to do some marketing, otherwise there won't be many orders. I was truly curious about all of this. Maybe it was because I loved him, so I also came to love the things he loved. I followed him to the workshop every day, got familiar with the production line, and after fully understanding the process, I started helping him with some simple management tasks so he could have more time to focus on design. But recently, I noticed that Ethan often went out without taking me along. I realized that every time he took a phone call, he would frown as if he were in a bad mood. How's it going? It's not that customers placed orders and then canceled again, right? No, it's not that. It's Mila Fo. She refuses to return the betrothal gifts. How much did you give her? $160,000 in cash, 1 car worth $300,000, and 8 pieces of gold jewelry. The other things don't matter, but I have to get these 3 back. By now, I understood the Ethan family's character very well. Many of them worked in well-established public units, often received benefits, and always remembered to send gifts to my parents. Even when going back home, Ethan never showed up empty-handed. He had known Mila Fo for 3 years, so when it came to formalities and gifts, he must have been thorough. Perhaps it was precisely because the Ethan family was so generous, so the Fo family treated them like fools who were easy to bully and planned to keep everything without returning a thing. It was truly ridiculous. The Miller family was clearly the one at fault. Yet I still returned every bit of the betrothal gifts to them, even reimbursed the banquet expenses. They canceled the wedding just 2 days in advance by rights. The hotel shouldn't have refunded a single cent. The Fo family was the one who did wrong. So where did they get the nerve to shamelessly take someone else's things and refuse to give them back? I told Ethan to listen to me and hire a lawyer. It was clearly their fault. They were the ones who broke off the engagement. There was no reason for him to suffer losses. We should sue them. After Ethan agreed, I suddenly felt a little self-conscious. The Ethan family were people who cared a great deal about saving face. Many of them worked in government institutions, so they tended to prefer harmony over conflict rather than fighting over every dollar. I was afraid people would think I was too sharp-tongued and make Ethan lose face. But his mother grabbed my hand emotionally and said, "You're the one with principles. The Fo family really has gone too far. They were clearly in the wrong first, yet they've been spreading rumors everywhere, saying Ethan had an affair and smearing the two of you. I truly can't swallow this anger." With my mother-in-law backing me up, I immediately felt much bolder. Then let's conveniently sue them for defamation too. Make them publicly apologize on social media and explain clearly who was at fault and who ruined the marriage. Since they don't care about saving face, there's no need for us to spare them any courtesy. I thought of the wealthy lady who had given the 80,000 red envelope at the wedding and arranged to meet her. I didn't expect her to agree immediately, and she was even enthusiastic. "Oh my God, so you're that lucky wife. I was just about to deal with that trash husband of mine and then go after that soldier, and who would have thought you'd snap him up first? I'm sorry." "Oh please, what's there to apologize for? If a man is worth keeping, you keep him. If not, you dump him. Whoever gets there first, he belongs to." She really was a formidable woman. I explained that I had invited her out because I needed her help. "What is it?" "It's about my husband's ex-girlfriend. She's been going around smearing my husband, saying he cheated, calling me a homewrecker, and she's holding on to all the betrothal gifts worth over 500,000 and refusing to return them. We plan to sue her. I wanted to ask if you'd be willing to be a witness for us and testify that the engagement was called off because she was at fault first." "Good heavens, what a coincidence," she said. "That trash husband of mine and I are also in the middle of a divorce. That old dog even put on a show of deep affection in court, trying to get money out of me, insisting I pay him before he'd sign the divorce papers. He's been leeching off my family for years, and now even wants to take the whole pot with him. He must be dreaming in broad daylight. I've already got the hotel surveillance video. Even though it only shows the two of them entering the room together, it's more than enough as evidence. Add me on WeChat. I'll send it to you so we can be witnesses for each other. And while we're at it, we can even congratulate that pair of wild sparrows." "Deal, deal, deal. When you go to court, remember to call me. Let's stay in touch." As for our side, there was no need to go to court anymore. As soon as Mila Fo watched the video, she immediately broke down crying and begged for mediation outside the courthouse. She voluntarily returned all the betrothal gifts Ethan had given her. She refused to publicly apologize online, instead kneeling at Ethan's feet, with her face covered in tears and snot, crying that she still loved him deeply, that everything had been because she'd been deceived by that man, that she hadn't done it intentionally. Perfect. I immediately recorded a video and sent it to the wealthy lady. What could be more convincing than the person involved personally admitting she had been entangled with her husband? The wealthy lady was overjoyed and immediately sent me a red envelope worth 10,000 yuan. I didn't dare accept it. "You've already given us too much. We shouldn't have accepted that wedding envelope in the first place. Thank you so much. Don't say that. Thanks to you, I finally cut off that piece of garbage and even saved myself some money. I want breakup money. This 10,000 really isn't much at all. Just take it and keep it as your personal savings, or buy a nice set of pajamas and use it to seduce your husband. I still didn't dare accept it. After Ethan got the money back from Mila Foe, he transferred all of it straight into my account. So, rich lady, have you hit the million mark yet? I actually have. I froze a little. Why did you transfer everything to me? That was betrothal money to begin with. If I don't give it to my wife, who should I give it to? Let's go to the jewelry store and exchange all those pieces. Pick new ones you like. I don't want to keep anything she's ever touched. Ethan already had his own car, so he gave that car to me as well. Ethan, you really don't need to give me this much. I've already said it, this is betrothal money. It's yours by right. I'm the one who only brought 200,000 as dowry. I should be the one who's embarrassed. But you already gave me the betrothal money once. Ethan pulled me into his arms, spun around, and the two of us fell onto the bed. He pinned me down and kissed me again and again, each one light as a dragonfly skimming the water. My baby deserves it. It's not too much at all. And besides, you're my wife now. A husband's things naturally belong to his wife. Don't tell me you're still not used to that? It's fine. I'll help you really carve that into your memory. A week later, Ethan brought home a large package addressed to me. He always thought delivery boxes were dirty, usually opening them outside and tossing the box straight into recycling, so this time he didn't think much of it and opened it right away. Who would have thought that the moment he opened it, his face would flush bright red, and he'd hug the box and rush back inside the house. The next morning, after I got off work and came home, I found he'd already cooked a full table of dishes. How strange. In the morning, he'd gone to meet a client, and in the afternoon, he hadn't gone back to the workshop at all. Turns out he'd slipped off to the market to cook. While we were eating, he kept sneaking glances at me. It was obvious something was up, but he didn't dare say it. After the meal, he even rushed to wash the dishes and for once urged me to shower first. I opened the wardrobe to get my pajamas and discovered that there was now an entire extra section filled with flashy, colorful items of every kind. Ethan, what the hell is this? I couldn't believe it. Ethan, I never thought you were this kind of man. You really are a fake gentleman. Gritting my teeth, I finished showering, crossed my arms, and sat on the edge of the bed, waiting for him to confess. And yet, after he came out of the shower, he asked me first. Emily, don't you have something you want to say to me? What? You're turning it around on me now? Ethan, how about you explain first? What is all that stuff in the closet? Huh? Wasn't that ordered by you? Why are you asking me? What? I ordered a set that goes straight to jail. At that moment, I just wanted to smash my head into a wall and be done with it. So it turned out that after Ethan received the package, he opened it himself, and even carefully organized every single item in his head, automatically assuming I'd bought it. You might as well just die. Wife, it wasn't you? Listen to me explain. This was definitely that rich lady's trick. No wonder when she refunded the red envelope over WeChat, she kept saying she had a surprise for me. I sincerely thank her, really. It's okay, baby. Don't be embarrassed. Since it's already been ordered, it's ordered. Are we really going to return it? That'd be mortifying. He paused, then said thoughtfully, I didn't expect your inner world to be this wild. I'm your husband. I've never played with these kinds of things before, but for you, it's not like I can't try. How about we just pick one set at random and give it a try? As he spoke, he leaned back against the wardrobe and casually reached in, pulling out a set. A black mesh cat bikini. The highlight was an ultra-realistic black cat tail, a pair of cat ears that clipped into the hair, and fluffy, soft cat paw gloves. Every single item had been arranged by him personally. He knew exactly where each piece was. Calling it picking at random was just to make it sound classy. In reality, this had clearly been premeditated for a long time. I warn you, stay away from me. Baby, since you ordered it, wasn't it meant for me to see? That pitiful, wronged expression on his face, what was that supposed to be? Men who know how to act cute are truly dangerous. 1 second earlier he was still soft and aggrieved, looking utterly wronged. The next second he had already turned into a wolf in sheep's clothing. It was more terrifying than a horror movie. I was really done for this time. When I opened my eyes again, it was already close to noon. Ethan was sitting beside me on the bed, holding his laptop and adjusting design drafts. Him still sitting on the bed at this hour was practically a once-in-a-millennium event. The moment I cracked my eyes open, I saw him looking at me, smiling so gently it made me want to beg for mercy. He set the laptop aside, bent down, lifted me up, and held me in his arms, whispering by my ear, "Kitten, do you want breakfast in bed? Get lost, get lost, get lost." I yanked the blanket over my head and curled up like a coon, only hearing his laughter outside. I guessed roughly where his face was and kicked out, but he caught my ankle and planted a kiss right in the middle of my soul. It tickled like crazy. "What are you doing?" "Nothing. Hurry up and get up, wash your face and eat. It's already lunchtime." "Okay then, baby, what do you want for lunch? Want to order?" No. No. Sooner or later, I was definitely going to be coaxed into being bedridden by this enchantingly dangerous man. Ethan wanted to take me to reshoot our wedding photos, but I firmly refused. The ones we took before are already beautiful. I like them a lot. There's no need to reshoot. Those wedding photos marked the first time we met. They were proof that we had erased a wrong choice and replaced it with the right person. They were incredibly meaningful. Every time I looked at the photo by the bedside and remembered how Leo's image had been edited out and replaced with Ethan's, I felt the urge to pick it up and kiss it a few times. Unable to hold it in, I sighed, "Ethan, we really didn't have any destined connection. It was all thanks to that pair of scumbags who accidentally matched us up correctly." Ethan thought about it and felt I had a point, so we didn't go reshoot after all. From then on, he preferred using his phone to take photos of me instead. All his social media accounts openly showed traces of me everywhere, clearly announcing that he was a married man. He was never shy about letting the whole world know his feelings for me and how much he cherished me. He truly was the kind of person who gave others absolute peace of mind. Every small action of his made me feel a deep, sincere love. This quiet sense of security, no amount of sweet talk could ever compare to it. Leo's sentencing results came out. For intentional assault, he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. He called me from inside the detention center, demanding that I go see him. His friends and family attacked me like mad, even shamelessly insisting that I was not allowed to tell Leo that I had already gotten married. They wanted me to join them in lying to him so he wouldn't be hurt in prison. Truly shameless beyond belief. Fine, I went to see him. The moment Leo saw me, he became hysterical. "Emily, wait for me for 2 years. 2 years from now, when I get out, I will definitely marry you and make you the happiest woman in the world." I raised my hand and shook the diamond ring in front of him. "Save that promise for the true love of your life. My happiness doesn't need you to worry about it. I came to see you because I've had enough. Enough of your whole family using me as a tool to placate and comfort you, making you mistakenly believe that I'm some love-struck fool who's still out here waiting for you. I just want you to know one thing. Don't let your family deceive you for 2 whole years, and then come looking for me after you're released, accusing me of betrayal as if I owed you anything. No, Leo. The one at fault is you. You're the one who wasn't worthy of me. You ruined your own life. Don't drag me down with you." Leo stared at me as if he had been struck by lightning, completely unable to believe it, as though leaving me would mean he'd die on the spot. It was honestly ridiculous. When we were still discussing marriage back then, I never once saw him being devoted. I never saw him acting as if he would marry me no matter what, even at the cost of his life. At that time, all he knew how to do was frown, nitpick, and show disdain, joining forces with his parents to pressure me and push me down. To put it bluntly, it was precisely because he didn't love me that he was so guarded, calculating every tiny detail, afraid I would take advantage of him, afraid he himself would suffer losses. I don't know what Leo said to his family, and I don't know why they ended up coming to my place and Ethan's, crying and screaming, making a huge scene. They cursed me, calling me a vicious woman, saying I was kicking someone while they were down, saying I only knew how to enjoy wealth and comfort and refused to endure hardship, accusing me of abandoning my husband. Honestly, they were a group of people I simply could not understand. Their son went to prison for Nina. Wasn't that supposed to be heroic? Why didn't they go look for her and demand responsibility from her? What were they doing coming to my house? Child, Leo and Nina ended things a long time ago. The one he loves is you. If he loved me, was I supposed to crane my neck and wait for a man sitting in prison for intentional assault? If he loved a queen, would that mean I'd have to wait until he was crowned a prince? No. Emily Jiang, you really are a shameless, heartless woman. Our son just met with disaster, and you immediately turned around and married someone else. You're too much. You must have cheated long ago, you rotten woman. I was so angry my lungs felt like they were about to explode. Let me make this clear. Watch your mouths. I'm recording video right now. On my wedding day, you already met the faux family making trouble outside the hotel, didn't you? Go ask them what happened after they caused a scene. If you keep spewing insults, we'll meet in court. What you? Your son shamelessly got involved with a married woman, even went to her house and beat her husband, and now you come to my doorstep to make trouble? You're only good at shouting, is that it? Or should I gather everyone at the entrance of the complex, turn on a loudspeaker, and let the whole neighborhood hear so we can see who the truly shameless ones are? Your Leo didn't meet with disaster. He brought this on himself. It's karma. And I, Emily Jiang, am an unmarried woman marrying for the first time. No one has the right to point fingers at me. Get lost, or if you don't, I'm calling the police. The Miller family cursed as they backed away, saying I would suffer retribution, telling Ethan to open his eyes wide, saying he'd picked up leftovers, discarded by someone else, and would regret it sooner or later, that we'd divorce sooner or later. When they were making a scene, I didn't cry. But when I got home and shut the door, I couldn't hold it in anymore. They were clearly the ones in the wrong, yet they still had the nerve to come and bully me. I didn't want Ethan to see me looking so sharp-tongued and hysterical, but I was too angry to endure it. Ethan pulled me into his arms, gently patting my back. There, baby, don't cry. Be good. I'm sorry, I was clumsy. I didn't know how to argue back, didn't know how to stand up for you in time. If they come again, we won't argue with them at all. We'll call the police straight away. Please don't cry anymore, okay? I really couldn't cry anymore because my lower abdomen suddenly cramped in pain, so painful I couldn't breathe. Husband, my stomach hurts so much. It hurts so much. Ethan immediately scooped me up, rushed me downstairs, and drove straight to the hospital. But just as we arrived, the pain suddenly disappeared. I'm fine now. I'm sorry. Maybe we should just go home. It's okay. Since we're already here, let's get you checked for peace of mind. The patient is pregnant, exactly 2 weeks, the doctor said. It was detected quite early. There are slight signs of threatened miscarriage, but it's not serious. The mother's overall health is stable. No special treatment is needed. Just go home and rest. In early pregnancy, emotional stability is very important. Avoid strong emotional fluctuations, and don't overexert yourself. Diet also needs attention. This is a nutrition guide for expectant mothers. Take it home and read it carefully. And one more thing. For the first 3 months, the husband and wife need to keep some distance, the doctor added. Don't act recklessly. All the prenatal checkups and follow-up tests must be done on schedule. Don't be careless. This is all for the child's lifelong health. I felt a little dazed. Ethan was even more stunned. We had only been married a little over 3 months, and yet the baby was already more than 2 weeks along. But when we got back to the car, he didn't start the engine right away. Instead, he turned and pulled me into his arms as I sat in the passenger seat. He held me for a while, then started crying. At first, I thought he was crying from happiness, but it turned out he was blaming himself. I'm sorry, Emily. It's all because I'm useless. I couldn't protect you when you were being bullied, and I let people curse you and say I'm worthless. I'm sorry. I stroked his head. It's okay. They were targeting me anyway. How can you blame yourself? Let's go home. Ethan leaned into me, cried a little longer, and only then did he start the car. When we got home and I sat down on the sofa, he suddenly knelt down and hugged my waist, whispering, "Baby, Our child reacted like this because I didn't protect their mom well, right? No, Ethan, don't blame yourself. I really don't care. I have you, and I have the baby now. I don't take a single word from the Miller family to heart. Even so, he couldn't let go of the fact that he hadn't been able to help when I was being cursed. He even went online and posted asking how to curse people properly. I truly had no words. With both his parents being teachers, and 7 teachers in his family, it made perfect sense that he didn't know how to insult people. But I honestly thought he was amazing. I even felt a bit jealous of his parents. How could they raise a son like this? Compared to the male leads I'd imagined in my novels, he was 10,000 times better. Husband, you're not allowed to learn that stuff, I told him seriously. I like you exactly the way you are now. Having one sharp-tongued person in this family is enough. There's no need for the 2 of us to compete in bad karma with our mouths. If it's a small matter, we let it go. If it's a big matter, we call the police and sue. We're about to have a baby. Do you really want our child to see their dad learning how to curse people every day? No, he said immediately. In the end, Ethan finally set that idea aside. But instead of learning how to curse people, he quietly asked 2 cleaning ladies from his workshop to keep an eye on the Miller family's residential compound. He even brought several World War II fighter jet models from the workshop and asked the 2 women to give them to the kids in the neighborhood, using that as a chance to strike up conversations with the mothers and grandmothers there. Before long, the 2 women had wormed their way into the neighborhood's gossip circle, gathering all kinds of news related to the Miller family. They also conveniently let everyone in the compound know exactly why Leo went to prison and why the wedding had been called off. They even found out that Leo's father, despite his age, was still a total creep, sneaking around looking for women, something the entire neighborhood knew about, except Leo's mother. So Ethan had someone keep watch, caught him red-handed, and made one phone call to report him to the police. Leo's father was caught on the spot, fined 2,000 yuan, and given 14 days of administrative detention. The whole compound was thrown into chaos. The 2 cleaning ladies helpfully spread the word, like father, like son. No wonder Leo was about to get married and still got involved with a married woman, bringing disaster upon himself. The whole family was rotten. Leo's mother cried, screamed, and clawed at her husband's face. Mission accomplished. The 2 cleaning ladies happily returned to the workshop to keep mopping floors. Later on, I heard them retelling the story at the workshop, boasting about their battle achievements, as if they were performing stand-up comedy. You'd never guess that their boss, the serious, upright Ethan, could come up with such a ruthless tactic. It really was a case of social punishment, striking straight at the heart. Then again, they brought it on themselves. And they still dared to come looking for the boss's wife, even to the point of causing her to have signs of threatened miscarriage. If the boss had let them off easy, that would have been... That family really was bizarre from top to bottom, old ones chasing women, young ones committing violent crimes. Who knows if there will be some unlucky girl in the future who gets tricked into marrying into that mess? No, absolutely not. They didn't even have a child yet, and had already cut off so many paths for future generations. What future? That kind of upside-down karma building was truly something else. More than 3 months into the pregnancy, we finally dared to tell both families. After all, I'd had signs of threatened miscarriage before, and if anything had gone wrong, the elders would have been heartbroken. Now that the baby was developing very healthily, both sides of the family were so happy, they cried tears of joy. The Ethan family even scolded Ethan soundly, saying he didn't know how to handle things properly, that something this important should have been reported earlier. I watched my mother-in-law smack my husband twice, hard, and my heart ached just watching it. Mom, please don't blame him anymore, I quickly said. I won't allow it. Ethan really did take amazing care of me. I didn't even have to touch dish soap. My belly had only just started to show a little, yet he already wouldn't let me bend down to tie my shoelaces. I honestly didn't know what more he could possibly do. Little Emily, don't keep defending him, my mother-in-law said seriously. If he ever dares to make you unhappy, you must tell us immediately. We'll discipline him. Pregnant women absolutely must not suffer emotional distress. You have to keep your mood happy at all times, understand? While she was at it, she gave Ethan a whole lecture on prenatal and postpartum depression, then poured out all the grievances she'd endured when she was pregnant herself, dragging my father-in-law into it and scolding him thoroughly. I'm telling you, if a woman is bullied during pregnancy or postpartum confinement, she'll remember it for the rest of her life. My father-in-law was scolded until he hung his head low, and Ethan was so scared, he practically worshipped me like a household deity every day. I was so happy I felt like smiling all the time. Up to this very moment, I still felt that marrying Ethan was something that would make me wake up laughing even in a dream. Whether it was marriage or having a child, he gave me a complete sense of security. There was nothing at all that made me anxious or dissatisfied. Not only did I not fall into depression, I actually started feeling a little smug. Mila Fo sent me a WeChat friend request and even opened up her entire Moments feed for me to see. It was obvious she'd carefully filtered it, leaving behind nothing but posts showing off Ethan. You could tell that in the past she'd really put on a show in front of him. She had even negotiated marriage matters with the Ethan family before. The comparison she left behind was far too obvious. No wonder the Ethan family always felt I was easy to talk to and worried if they treated me poorly, I'd feel wronged. The moment I accepted her friend request, Mila Fo bombarded me with a series of photos, intimate shots of her and Ethan together, even some taken in the bedroom. I sent her a photo I'd just taken the night before. Last night was the first time I'd felt the baby kick. Ethan had knelt at my feet and kissed my belly, and I took the photo looking down from above. It was the first photo of the three of us as a family. Since you couldn't attend the wedding, make sure you come to the baby's 1-month celebration, I wrote. I'll arrange a VIP table for you. After all, it's thanks to you that I was able to meet such a good man as Ethan. I wish you find your own safe harbor soon. Don't keep lingering on Ethan anymore. Living day to day clinging to a few fragments of memory with my husband is honestly quite pitiful. Besides, you'll never find another man as good as him. What a pity for you. After sending that, I handed the phone straight to Ethan. He looked at the photos, bit his lower lip, and his face went pale, clearly extremely tense. He gently pulled me into his arms and held me tightly. Baby, don't be angry, okay? I blocked her a long time ago. I will absolutely never contact her again. I know. Baby, don't be mad at me, please, he pleaded. Ethan, in certain situations, was just too good at bending, too skilled at acting cute. His voice drooped so pitifully it felt like if I didn't comfort him, he'd burst into tears immediately. He whined softly and rubbed against me like a big dog begging for pets. Stay a little farther away from me, I warned him. Be careful of my belly. Baby, the doctor said that after the first 3 months, we can be a little careful about it. And now we're already more than 4 months in. Do you maybe want to? My face instantly turned red. I rolled my eyes and stared at the ceiling. I'm pregnant, you know. Emily, Ethan said seriously, I will be extremely careful. I seriously suspected that Ethan was basically a fox spirit reincarnated, and I was the foolish ruler who had absolutely no resistance to him. I couldn't be bothered to care about Mila Fo anymore. Everyone has their own life. The more she tried to stir things up, the more it proved that she regretted it, that she couldn't let go of Ethan. Yet he was the one man she was destined never to have again. She could chew on that bitterness for the rest of her life. Who had the time to care? But Mila Fo refused to stop. In order to provoke me, she kept sending me photos, pictures of the expensive gifts Ethan had once given her. She even carefully labeled each one. When it was given, how much it cost. Ethan had his lawyer cross-check his bank statements, combine them with the photos on Mila Fo's Moments, as well as all the images she'd sent me, and compiled a detailed list of valuable gifts and large transfers over the 3 years they'd dated. The total value was close to $200,000, and he sued her. In the end, Mila Fo was taken to court by Ethan. She cried miserably and returned every single valuable gift. The next morning, Ethan found a girl at the workshop who knew how to use second-hand resale platforms. He paid her a 10% commission and asked her to handle selling everything. In the end, adding together the returned gifts and the resale proceeds, they recovered more than $40,000. Ethan transferred all of it straight into my bank account. Baby's personal money, keep it safe. Who knows, maybe you'll become a millionaire rich lady someday. Without thinking, I blurted out, by suing your ex-girlfriend? Baby, I was wrong, Ethan said at once, moving in to act cute, nuzzling against my neck. I really wasn't blaming him at all. It had just slipped out. It's fine. You handled it really well. The baby and I are both very satisfied. Really? Really? He suddenly froze. Oh, our baby's kicking again. There were only 3 weeks left until the due date. The baby was very healthy, sometimes kicking so hard it genuinely hurt. Baby, be good. You're about to come out and meet Mom and Dad. Dad will buy you lots of toys. Don't kick Mom's tummy so hard anymore, okay? After being sued, Milafo didn't dare message me again. When I checked, I saw that she'd deleted me. At least she had some sense. During my postpartum confinement, Nina suddenly sent me a WeChat friend request. I was genuinely curious. Where did she get the nerve to contact me? And the note she left was bold and proper. I am Nina. Fine, I accepted and replied, who are you? I'm Nina. So who are you? A former classmate. You're about to get married, so you want me to give you a cash gift. Emily John, I'm Leo's first love. I know you know who I am, don't pretend. Oh, I'm honestly about to forget what Leo even looks like. How would I know about his first love? Have we met before? No, but Leo has mentioned you. Oh, but he never once mentioned you to me. That's fine. That's not important. Today I'm actually here on Leo's behalf. He's been in there for a year now, and you still haven't visited him even once. He really misses you. I didn't reply, waiting to see what else she wanted to say. She sent more than 20 messages in a row, her tone broken and trembling, as if she were about to cry. Actually, you don't need to care about my existence at all. Leo truly wanted to marry you. What happened between him and me is already in the past. The two of us have known each other for so many years now. We're basically like family, that's all. He's a devoted person. Once he loves someone, he won't let go easily. He really is waiting for you to visit him. Emily, I honestly think the two of you are very compatible. A perfect match. How can you be so heartless? What exactly do you want before you'll agree to go see Leo? I let out a cold laugh. That's right. I, Emily Jong, am a heartless woman unlike you, Nina, who has to take care of a family while also being so deeply devoted to a first love sitting in prison. You're infatuated this way, he's infatuated that way. Then the two of you really shouldn't miss each other. Go get a divorce and marry him. Remember to invite me to the wedding. I'll give you a huge cash gift. Nina, the person he loves now isn't you, and it's not me either. Since you already know he doesn't love you anymore, why are you still shamelessly coming to me on his behalf? Are you deliberately lowering yourself? Emily, are you only talking like this because you're angry? Why are you being so rude? As a human being, and especially as a woman, I've always believed that domestic violence is wrong. I personally oppose all forms and all excuses for domestic violence. But it only took one phone call from you for Leo to end up in prison. I don't know how many ex-boyfriends you still have who are willing to beat up their husbands for you, stepping in on your behalf. But I sincerely want to give you one piece of advice. Next time, don't call your ex. Call the police instead. That well-intentioned advice completely broke Nina. The woman who had just been calling me rude suddenly switched to voice messages, hurling abuse non-stop. Right then, Ethan came in from outside, carrying a bag of diapers he'd just bought for the baby. Hearing a woman screaming through the voice chat, his face darkened instantly. He took the phone from my hand. She's looking for you again? No, not Nina. Then who? Leo's first love. Ethan read through the entire chat. I was breastfeeding the baby at the time and didn't really pay attention. Our phones were always shared openly anyway, with nothing hidden between us. Is this woman sick or something? He said flatly. What status does she have to be playing matchmaker for Leo? She really cares about her ex-boyfriend, huh? Baby, ignore her. Don't be angry, and definitely don't go visit Leo. Of course not, I said. I'm not stupid enough to wander into a prison for no reason. Why would I go see him? After that, Ethan listened to all the filthy abuse in the voice messages, his face flushing red with anger. He took screenshots of the entire conversation and sent them to his own phone. He didn't say anything, and I didn't ask. It turned out he contacted Nina's husband, his name was Ryan Lynn, printed out the chat logs and threw them straight in Ryan's face, saying coldly, "Keep your wife under control." Ethan had no idea what kind of person Ryan Lynn was, nor did he anticipate the consequences of his actions. Ryan ended up beating Nina, causing her to miscarry. At first, Ethan did feel a trace of guilt. After all, it was a small life. But after Nina called from the hospital and screamed abuse at me again, the last bit of guilt in his heart completely vanished. He didn't care what happened to another man's wife, but anyone who dared touch his wife was crossing the line. Ethan answered Nina's call himself. "I'm the one who gave the chat logs to your husband. It has nothing to do with my wife. Miss Nina, I've never met you, and I don't know what kind of person you are. You got pregnant with your husband's child, yet you're still worrying about a first love sitting in prison and even trying to rope another man's wife into it. What exactly is in your head? Your ex went to prison. You miscarried. Everything that happened is your own doing. No one else is responsible. If you want to blame someone, blame the husband who beat you. Let me make this clear. You can keep mourning Leo if you want. I won't stop you. But my wife is in postpartum confinement. I will not allow outsiders like you to hurt her emotionally. From now on, you are forbidden from going anywhere near my wife. Every time you look for my wife, I'll go look for your husband once. My wife has me to protect and cherish her. You can scream yourself hoarse and still won't be able to touch her. As for how your husband treats you, only you know that yourself. Go ahead and keep causing trouble. Let's see who ends up unable to take it anymore." I truly couldn't be bothered to care about Nina, but Ethan was furious. He was afraid that I was still in postpartum confinement and would end up swallowing grievances that might turn into long-term problems. That said, he never supported Ryan Lynn's violent behavior. But when he learned that Nina had miscarried because her husband beat her, yet even so, she still didn't report it to the police or get a divorce, all because her first love was sitting in prison, he only said coldly, "Now I finally understand that saying. People who are pitiful always have something hateful about them." With domestic violence like this, if the person involved doesn't take the initiative to report it or dare to speak up, outsiders really are powerless. If someone intervenes, the outcome could easily be the same as Leo's, convicted of intentional injury and sent to prison. Ethan personally hired a manager to help oversee the workshop, while he himself stayed home almost full-time to take care of me. He was afraid that during my postpartum confinement, I might feel wronged or suffer in silence. My mom and my mother-in-law both had to step aside a bit, mainly helping take care of the baby and cooking for the two of us. Our daughter's 1-month celebration was held on a grand scale. After all, when Ethan and I got married, the two families didn't really know each other yet and weren't sure how things would be after marriage, so there was still a sense of politeness and restraint. All the regrets and emotions that hadn't fully burst out on the wedding day were poured into the baby's 1-month banquet. I posted a family photo of the three of us on my Moments. Within moments, there were dozens of comments. Most people expressed disbelief. Some asked, "Is this the husband you picked with your eyes closed right before the wedding?" It's true that we officially got in touch just before the wedding, but it was absolutely not a blind pick. From start to finish, I always felt that marrying him was far more satisfying than even getting engaged to Leo. If this was what you called picking with my eyes closed, then what was Leo? Someone who got his head slammed by a door? There were also a few sarcastic remarks below, even people asking whether my husband was a stepfather, whether the baby belonged to Leo. A bunch of trash, clearly taught math by their biological fathers since childhood. I had been married for 14 months before my child turned 1 month old. How could she possibly be Leo's child? Despicable idiots with dead brains. They were probably just furious, seeing me live so well, thinking I should have been stuck for life with a criminal like Leo, that I didn't deserve happiness. They were all craning their necks, waiting to see how miserable my life would be after marriage. Unfortunately for them, I didn't let people like that get their wish. After the 1-month banquet, my savings thickened by another chunk. Ethan's workshop also started gaining recognition, its reputation spreading farther and orders increasing day by day. Who knows? Maybe one day I'll upgrade from a 100,000 level rich lady to a multi-million level rich lady. I started enjoying sharing my life on social media. The photos I posted were all small moments of everyday happiness, shadows of our whole family, photos of 3 hands or 3 feet intertwined. I recorded every moment of my child growing up, every tiny, lovely detail between me and Mr. Ethan. Unexpectedly, little by little, my follower count grew to be even higher than the number of readers I had back when I wrote stories and flopped for years on end. But when there are more viewers, bad rumors also start to appear. Some people said I staged everything, that I wrote a script for myself and drew up a dream of happiness. Perhaps happiness is simply too rare, so rare that I had only shared a few scattered fragments, that even this much made people suspicious, convinced it couldn't possibly be real. If I actually filmed our entire daily life, every single day between Mr. Ethan and me, I wouldn't be surprised if they sued me for emotional fraud. I got my past dug up anyway, and the biggest contributors were Ning Ji and Nina. Those 2 women seemed to share the same goal, working together to shove me into the mud. In Nina's version of the story, I was the mistress who barged into her love story, shamelessly stealing her husband, stealing the wedding that should have belonged to her, stealing everything she once had. I was even painted as vicious enough to force Ethan to hurt her, just to prove his love for me, straight out of some dog-blood melodrama. In Ning Jae's story, I was a gold digger, a heartless woman who, while on the verge of marrying her ex-boyfriend, abruptly turned around to seduce a man with better conditions, mercilessly dumping my fiancé. In both of their mouths, I, Emily, was the kind of woman who didn't deserve happiness, who deserved to be cursed by the entire world. I couldn't be bothered to explain myself to strangers I didn't know at all. I tossed my phone aside, logged out of social media, and let them think whatever they wanted. Ethan said he wanted to make up for my honeymoon, so the 3 of us took our daughter on a trip. While my daughter and I were enjoying the resort, Ethan quietly slipped into the comment sections where people were trashing me and publicly revealed his identity, telling everyone who doubted or insulted me that I was his wife. After that, the crowd swarmed over to Ethan's page to dig things up instead. No one really knew anything about our life or our relationship. Ironically, he shared even more than I did. A month after we returned home, I found that the situation still hadn't cooled down at all. It was honestly bizarre. I, Emily, was just an ordinary citizen posting a few words and some photos online, yet somehow I ended up on the trending searches. What kind of talent did I have? Late at night, I hugged my phone and ate popcorn while watching the drama about myself. Only then did I finally understand why things had escalated like this. It was because Ethan and that wealthy, big sister-type woman had joined forces. Ethan kept drawing attention. Right when people were slandering and framing me, he posted photos of our travels every day, scenes of happiness from our family of 3, making those people choke with anger. As for the wealthy big sister, she investigated everything thoroughly and clearly identified Nina and Ning Jae as the sources of the trouble. She went straight at both of them. Nina and Ning Jae got addicted to cursing me, with fans cheering them on, and seeing that I had disappeared from the internet for an entire month, they thought I would never respond, so they used bashing me as material to live stream and make money. The big sister couldn't take it anymore. Those 2 lunatics were writing and performing their own show non-stop, especially when they saw netizens siding with Nina and calling me the third party. She immediately opened a live stream herself and confronted them head-on. During the live stream, she calmly recounted the entire incident from beginning to end, her tone sharp and sarcastic. "Nina, you really are thick-skinned beyond belief. It's been over a year now. Other people already have a peaceful family with a spouse and a child. And you? Why has no one wanted you yet? I hear my ex-husband is about to remarry. The wedding date's already set. Why isn't the bride you? Have you ever looked in the mirror and asked yourself why?" She spoke with overwhelming presence and solid logic, then pulled out 2 videos and a court judgment. The first video showed Nina entering a hotel with the big sister's ex-husband. The second video showed Nina kneeling outside the courthouse, begging Ethan for reconciliation. As for the judgment, it was the court's ruling ordering Nina to return all the assets in full, the valuable items that Ethan had given her. She pointed at the screen and scolded coldly. "See that? Is it clear enough now? If you all feel so heartbroken for Nina, then hurry up and take her home to support her yourselves. Don't let her keep coming out to harm other people. If you think she deserves happiness, fine. Go give her happiness yourselves. Don't make things difficult for a married woman who finally has a stable life and has just crawled out of hell. And as for Ningjie, every single day you go online, defending your old flame and cursing others. Have you ever asked your own husband about it? I did a quick check and found that you've been beaten into the hospital 3 times by your husband, and once you were even beaten badly enough to miscarry. You've completely disgraced women as a whole. There's truly nothing about you that inspires sympathy. You curse Emily online every day for abandoning her fiancé, but why don't you explain clearly why the wedding was cancelled in the first place? Who caused it? It was you, Ningjie. The day before someone else's wedding, you cried and called Leo. Leo rushed to your place and beat up your husband, and as a result, your husband sued him and he was sentenced to 2 years in prison. He's still serving time right now. Your ex went to prison because of you, yet you didn't divorce your husband and wait for him to get out. So what right do you have to go online and curse Emily? People who don't know better might even think you're Leo's biological mother. Your face is even thicker than Nina's. At least Nina did it for herself. This whole thing has nothing to do with you at all. What on earth does it have to do with you, that you're jumping around like you're on stimulants? Netizens were genuinely addicted to watching the drama. Just like that, the wealthy big sister argued back and forth online with Ningjie and Nina for over half a month, gaining more than 200,000 followers in one go. After that, she officially verified her account, clearly listing her title as chairwoman of X Group, assets in the hundreds of millions, a past failed marriage, and that after escaping a trashy husband, she had a child on her own through IVF. Now she was a single female CEO whose heart held only her child and her career. That image, beautiful, sharp, and inspiring, sent her company's revenue soaring, profits doubling. A wealthy woman was still a wealthy woman, making money at an absolutely top-tier level. I clung to Ethan and acted spoiled. "Honey, how about we also hurry up and register a brand and open our own toy store, okay?" He laughed. "What's this? You want to be a powerful businesswoman too?" "I do." "Then sure. The future CEO of my company, I'll listen to everything you say." I also tried starting live streams. The first time I went live, I was so nervous I wanted to die. My speech was clumsy and halting. But thanks to the existing buzz and the wealthy big sister helping promote me, the very first stream had over 700,000 viewers. I was so scared I nearly fainted. Fortunately, no one was scolding me anymore. Most people were just curious about the marriage between Ethan and me that sounded like a joke, and many people even came to my channel to pray, hoping they'd be as lucky as me, blindly picking someone and somehow finding their destiny. During the live stream, I solemnly announced that I would sue Ningjie and Nina for defamation and slander. The majority supported me. Some people were even more eager for the verdict than I was, because only if the court ruled them guilty would everything that the wealthy big sister and I had explained truly carry weight. People wanted proof that Ethan and I really had met in such a miraculous way. Little by little, I started to like live streaming. It wasn't actually anything scary, just sitting there chatting with people through a screen, sharing a few small, everyday moments. Some people said that just by looking at my eyes and my smile when I talked about my husband, they could tell everything I said was real. As for Ethan, he felt absolutely nothing toward the camera at all. At home, he's still the same as always, doing whatever he wants. Sometimes he even stands behind the camera teasing me and acting spoiled on purpose, making the entire live stream room scream non-stop. It's honestly unbearable. The audience is even more sharp-eyed than I am, always pointing out every tiny detail of my happy life, like how Ethan often cuts fruit in advance and brings it to me, reminds me to drink water, stands behind me, doing housework in an apron, and calls me downstairs to eat, How every time he gets home he shouts loudly, "Baby, I'm home." Or how even when he goes out just to buy salt, he still says, "Baby, we're out of salt, I'm stepping out for a bit." You might be able to act for a day or two, but a whole month, 2 months, half a year, no one could keep that up if it were fake. Ethan has never hosted his own live stream. He only occasionally appears for a few seconds in the frame with me, yet his popularity is even higher than mine. When we talk about daily life, it naturally shifts to his company and his toy models. I'm not good at selling things, and I don't like reading stiff, scripted ads either. Mostly it's because the chat keeps spamming, asking where the fighter jet model behind me was bought. At first, I ran a few giveaways, gifting some models, with the only requirement being that the winners write an honest review after using them as feedback. Later, when we sold the first fighter jet model during a live stream, I was so moved I almost cried. The first time was clumsy, but doing it more often, I gradually got used to it. Before I could become a female CEO, I had already turned into the main sales pillar of the company. Then the court verdict finally came down. The facts were clear. Ningjae and Nina were convicted of insulting and defaming Ethan and me. Because the rumors spread widely and caused serious negative impact, they were found guilty of deliberately inciting cyber violence, polluting the online environment, and causing adverse social consequences. Ningjae was sentenced to 6 months in prison and Nina to 8 months. Both were ordered to publish public apologies on social media platforms. This time, Nina finally couldn't dodge apologizing under her real name. Before the two of them were even released from detention, Leo was released from prison first. Ningji's husband seized the opportunity to divorce her. At the time, she was still in detention and couldn't do anything about it, and was forced to leave the marriage with nothing. Her husband even sent people to stand outside her parents' home, cursing for an entire week, calling her promiscuous and shameless, saying she secretly messed around with other men after getting married and disgraced their family. He demanded compensation for damage to his reputation from her parents' family. In the end, her parents really did have to pay money before Tong Lin finally backed off. But Ningjae's reputation was completely ruined. I truly couldn't understand why Ningjae married someone like Tong Lin in the first place. What I understood even less was how, after marrying that kind of man, she still dared to stir up trouble and commit more karma. She was genuinely reckless. She and Leo ended up going to prison one after the other because of each other. Fair enough, a matched pair. I honestly think the two of them were made for each other and should stay together for life after life. Just don't go harming anyone else. I got pregnant again. This time, it took nearly 2 months before I realized it. Ethan immediately hired 2 professional MCs to take over my live stream room, and I became a top priority protected person. I wasn't allowed to do anything. Those 2 girls were lively and outgoing, and when they went live, they told stories about Ethan and me even more vividly than I ever did myself. Sometimes, watching the live stream, I was so embarrassed I wanted to crawl into the ground. I even wanted to rush in and cover their mouths. You know, ever since I started working here, I've never once seen the boss's wife bend down to tie her own shoelaces. That's because I'm pregnant and can't bend down, okay? Got it? One time, I brought a new model to the boss's house and saw the boss's wife holding a menu. The food pictures looked perfectly normal, but the prices, well, those are things we really can't show on stream. The boss's wife orders the dishes. The boss goes into the kitchen to cook, and once he's done, he has to pay the full price. Hey! Will you guys please shut up for me? I really had worried that Leo might come looking for trouble after getting out of prison. But he and his entire family stayed completely silent, as if they had evaporated from the face of the earth. I heard from the wealthy lady that after what happened with Ningjae and Nina, her ex-husband and Leo also became infamous. Her ex-husband's wedding was called off. The bride ran away overnight, and now that guy even has the nerve to try to get back together with her. Just hearing it makes me laugh. Leo probably isn't much better. He's probably just hoping people will forget about him. As for daring to show up looking for me, dream on. After giving birth to our second baby, I kicked Ethan once and made him go get sterilized. 3 years, 2 kids, what more does he want? Our factory has also relocated. The new plant is 4 or 5 times larger, with modern production lines, and we've hired more than 50 new workers. Ethan says it's all thanks to me, calling me his lucky charm, saying that even though I was misunderstood and smeared, I didn't collapse. Instead, I helped the company gain fame and make a fortune. But I think all of it is thanks to Ethan. I never once cared about the insults from Ningjie or Nina, because to me, they were nothing but the powerless screaming of losers. I didn't lose a single strand of hair. It's precisely because their own lives are so empty and miserable that they keep staring at me, wanting to drag me down into the mud with them. And the life that makes them jealous to the point of madness. That was all brought to me by Ethan. His love and support, his warm embrace are the strongest armor I've ever had in my life. With him here, I'm not afraid of anything. Still, it's not like there aren't headaches. Because of the cyberbullying I once endured, the tragic romance stories I wrote back when I was an unknown author also got dug up. The comments underneath were all like, "Ha ha ha, so this is the kind of male lead the madam likes?" Thought it'd be so sweet my teeth would rot, but turns out what she wrote is even more awkward than my unrequited love. Not sweet at all, not even close to how sweet the two of them are in real life. It was humiliating, so humiliating it made my scalp tingle. I was so embarrassed, I wanted to dig myself an imperial tomb out of the ground with my toes. What was even more mortifying was that Ethan secretly read the stories I wrote, carefully reading those sweet dating chapters between the male and female leads. He even nodded thoughtfully and said, "Baby, do you think this kind of date is sweet? Let's try it ourselves next time." This fox spirit of a man, this is where the story really ends. Is it harder to leave because you still love them or because you're afraid of facing life without them? Love and Lies story.